Hello my friends, welcome back to Milk and Cookies Total War. I am Mini Pride, and in this video we will be showing off two separate battles between myself and Turin with the Rise of the Tomb Kings DLC. They're both pretty short, so I felt like I should combine them into one. So High Queen Khalida, without question, on a Necro Serpent is one of the best Tomb King picks in my opinion. Scary fast, great duelist with poison, and the Sphinx of Usek is a great complement to that. Pretty obscene price tag of more than 2,300 gold, but magical and flaming attacks. Ton of durability, and a pretty terrifying stat line, make it a monster killer and something that you can kind of just plop directly into the thick of the fighting and not worry about it too much. Two Necropolis Knights with halberds provide that mass, armor piercing, and poison in the back lines, and of course they fit very thematically with our queen, and we have a Necrotect to give us a little bit of those juicy heals for the constructs to keep them in the fight just a little bit longer. For Turin's army, Kroq-Gar, of course. Feel like I've never seen anything else besides that because, well, he's insane on top of Grimlock and a bunch of Temple Guard. 5 of them, in fact. AP and bonus versus large, pretty nice combination to have against constructs. And Venom Staff from Khalida, instantly jibbing 7 Temple Guard there. Felt pretty good. And that will kick the Lizardmen into high gear. So he has a Basilodon with Revivification Crystal, regular Stegodon, Skink Priest on top on Overwatch, and a Skink Chief as well. Lore of Heavens on that Skink Priest. Very good against lightly armored stuff with Wind Blast. So Kroq-Gar thinking about returning to sender here after that pretty nasty Venom Staff to open the game. And Hand of the Gods goes off. And yeah, that's going to be pretty brutal. Right at the start of the game, Hand of the Gods cuts Khalida's health in half. Every single missile hits, and that flaming damage just amplifies it even further because of her inherent weakness to fire. Not a good start to the Tomb Kings to have your Lord instantly shut down like that. Hand of the Gods is just brutal against Tomb Kings Lords, especially big ones like that, because the Necro Serpent is just a big target. So yeah, that hurt a lot. Now Temple Guard, super good choice against the Tomb Kings, I feel like, because one, they're going to crush every single infantry unit the Tomb Kings can field. They're going to be able to beat Tomb Guard. They're going to be able to beat the Regiment of Renown Tomb Guard. Certainly smash Nehekhara warriors. So you'll need to support your infantry pretty heavily if you're the Tomb Kings, if you want to have any hope of winning. But throwing constructs into a bunch of Temple Guard is pretty tough, right? Like, that's going to hurt you a lot. So it's kind of a difficult matchup, I feel like, for Tomb Kings, because right at the start in terms of this front line engagement, maybe not going to go so well. So you got to kill the Lords and kill the high value targets. And Kroq-Gar certainly falls into that category. So Necropolis Knights on top of him and Khalida with the poison, preventing him from running away, and the Sphinx of Usek could certainly do enough to finish him off fast. But Kroq-Gar does have that physical resistance buff. He does have the speed, the swiftness of Itzel to get away, so it can be very hard to shut him down, prevent him from running away. And I mean, that's always been a pretty big, important point about Kroq-Gar. He's, oh god, nasty Wind Blast to the side of those skeleton archers, just eviscerating them. Very nice cast from Turin there. But yeah, it's very hard to shut down Lord like Kroq-Gar because he has so many escape options, he has so much mobility, and he's just so powerful and tanky, and he has the heals. All that is an issue. Now, the Necropolis Knights, look at that. I supported my main line with the Necropolis Knights, and in the Temple Guard, they just melted. They literally instantly melted. Over here as well, fighting Kroq-Gar and some more Temple Guard. Just the beginning of this match is just going so poorly. But the Sphinx of Usek is here, and with those dual nasty blades, I mean, that's what they're designed to do, is kill stuff like Carnosaurs. Kroq-Gar took a beating there for sure, but he is going to be able to disengage, pull out, and that means that his heals will start coming through. He has 3 separate heals from the Revivification Crystal, from the Skink Chief, from the Skink Priest, and his own Cold-Blooded. So, I mean, like, as long as he doesn't die, he can probably get all the way back up to full health with all that. Stegodon running around, stomping through a bunch of the Nehekhara warriors, and Ushabti gets summoned. And when the Realm of Souls is procced, like 2 minutes into the game, you know you're in trouble as a Tomb Kings player because things probably aren't going very well for you. Ushabti surrounding the Stegodon, and yeah, this has been a disaster, an absolute unmitigated disaster, and it started with that really nice Hand of the Gods, which is just a great choice. Again, if you're playing against the Tomb Kings, or if you're playing Lizardmen in general, you're almost always going to see Kroq-Gar, but especially that Hand of the Gods. If you, pay that extra 200 gold, get that extra flaming damage, you get a good shot on Setron and Kemrian War Sphinx, or Khalida on her Necro Serpent, or any of the Tomb Kings Lords. They're going to take so much damage from that, and instantly, right off the bat, you're going to be in a pretty good position to take it. And Turin's done a great job using the Skink Priest with the Lore of Heavens Wind Blast to smash my archers and make sure they can't support and do that kind of damage from range. The Temple Guard just waded into melee and sided apart all of my front line. So the Sphinx of Usef goes down, and Turin takes that game super easily, and I just have to give him credit for coming up with a very good army selection and army composition. That's just bread and butter, right? I really think that what you're going to see against the Tomb Kings a lot is a front line of armor-piercing bonus versus large units. So that means stuff like Black Guard, Phoenix Guard, Temple Guard, all that stuff, and maybe even Halberdiers with chevrons. Like, these units will beat literally any infantry the Tomb Kings can field, which, to be fair, the Tomb Kings they don't have strong infantry. Like, that's not what they're designed to do, right? They're designed to beat you with the constructs and have the infantry just hold the line. But if you crush the infantry and constructs with the same unit, as Black Guard will do, as Temple Guard will do, then you're on to something in terms of army composition. So it can be pretty nasty, and you saw it there. I mean, the Temple Guard just went in without any care in the world and smashed stuff around. Now, I think I said that it was 5 Temple Guard. It was 3 Temple Guard and 2 Saurus Warriors. But with the Dino healing and all that support from Lizardmen, I mean, we already know Lizardmen are one of the strongest factions in the game. I do think Tomb Kings are going to be quite good in multiplayer as well. But if you want to counter them, I do think that those kind of halberd units will be a good choice there. So, moving on to the second game here. Now playing with Arkhan the Black against Turin's Greenskins. And Arkhan, very good choice as well. He's on the Chariot. He's got a ton of mobility there. He is Lore of Death. So Spirit Leech, Fate of Buna, those two will be great for you. And I've gone for a very heavy rush army here with 5 Nehekhara warriors in the front, backed up by 5 Ushabti, all with that bonus versus infantry and armor piercing. So again, the idea here, same idea with it you'd use with the Vamps. You send zombies or skellies in and Crypt Horrors directly behind it. You support your main infantry line with a bunch of monsters. And when they work in tandem with each other, it's a much better solution than sending in anything isolated, just the infantry by itself. It's basically just a force multiplier. Like, the whole effect of these bad boys working together is greater than the sum of its parts. You can see Nehekhara warriors in the front, Ushabti backing them up, and then 3 Nehekhara horsemen. And the beauty of a build like this is that nothing is actually expensive. So there's nothing catastrophic that if it dies, I'm gonna go like, oh no, the game's over now. Like, I expected to see Azag because you see him so much with the Greenskins, because Fate of Buna is so good, because Spirit Leech is so good, and so he doesn't really have anything useful as Spirit Leech. Now, he does have Broken Tusk Mob, he has a Goblin Big Boss on a Spider, and on a Wolf. He has Orc Air Boys, and I believe Durusty Airs as well. And we got Azag on top of his Wyvern Skull Muncha. I mean, it's just a great choice, right? He's one of the better Greenskin Lords, if not... Well, he's definitely the best named Greenskin character. He might be the best Greenskin Lord, period, because of Lore of Death. And so on top of that, Wyvern with the poison attacks, with that mobility, insanely good choice. Now, Greenskins, of course, are not the best faction in Mortal Empires right now. I don't think they're completely atrocious, but they're not in a great spot right now. I think they probably do need some buffs. I just got a text. Sorry about that. And so Azag is moving up right now on top of Skull Muncha and looking to do some Fate of Buna. So he goes right for a Skeleton Horseman, or not Skeleton Horseman, that's Nehekhara Horseman. So it's a 600 gold unit. That's fine. Like, you can Fate of Buna that all day. I'm not really gonna care because it's gonna take it down to about half health, and that's 300 gold down the drain. Like, that's completely fine for me. If that was a Dragon Prince or something, then I'd be very sad. But again, nothing on my army is particularly expensive. Ushabti, only 900 gold. So Nehekhara warriors moving up now to charge into Orc Boys, and the Ushabti are just going to get some nasty scything animations in right now, doing some crazy spins, exploding into motion, and gutting the front line of Orc Boys here as we put down the Liber Necros. Or Liber Mortis, Liber Necros, I think, is Arkhan's AoE 44% physical resistance buff, which will be amazing for me on the front line, especially as Azag decided to land right there. So those Ushabti and the Skeleton Warriors will get some really nice buffs on physical resistance. He is pushing in on my right flank, but I'm just pushing through the center with all my fear units and hoping to rout the Orc Boys on the main line. You can see there is already some routing after that first charge. Now, there was some good skirmish fire coming in from Turin, coming in from those Spider Riders out on the flank. They're taking the Ushabti down to half strength, but I've already busted through and now can look to get into the rear. And I got some Crypt Ghouls dealing with some of his Unbreakable Night Goblins, and we're just getting into melee and trying to completely rush and overwhelm him early on. Fate of Buna going down on the Broken Tusk mob because it's a very expensive unit, and if it dies, I'm gonna be a very happy boy. And yeah, I mean, it had already taken a lot of damage because they were fighting Ushabti in melee, so that Fate of Buna will pretty much finish them off as the Ushabti get in, and the whole Orc Boy line is breaking here. And I think that from an army composition perspective, that Turin needed a different front line here because Orc Boys are not going to beat Nehekhara warriors 1v1, and they're certainly not going to be able to deal with Ushabti. I don't know if big guns were the right choice. Fate of Buna goes down on one of my, like, Nehekhara warriors. Like, yeah, again, like, not a good target for Fate of Buna, but there's nothing on my line that's actually good for Turin to target with it, with Azag. Arkhan charging through on top of his flying chariot. He's good in melee, he's good with the support with the Libra Necros, and he's good from range with his spells, with Fate of Buna and Spirit Leech. So the front line is just crumbling for the Greenskins right now. And yeah, I'm not sure that big guns are the right choice. They will certainly do better against Nehekhara warriors and against Ushabti, but I'm not sure they have enough AP to actually deal well with both at the same time. Black Orcs, or maybe getting some trolls, or I don't know about trolls, but something with more mass behind his line to protect his infantry would have certainly helped there, because after the Orc Boy's routed, like, what are you gonna do? Like, his front line just breaks. And this battle's not over yet. The balance bar is a little bit in my favor, but still has plenty of units left, and Azag's still around. We can still cast a bunch of Spirit Leeches. Goblins dealing with some of my Nehekhara horsemen out on the flank. And I'm charging forward. Remnants of my cavalry trying to prevent Azag from taking off. But certainly that infantry engagement did not go well for the Greenskins. Orc Boy's very susceptible to mass routing, of course. Very low leadership. And he's getting some good skirmish fire out on the flank. Nehekhara warriors dropping pretty fast there. They have very low armor, and that is something that characterizes the Tomb Kings in terms of their infantry. Nothing in their infantry component has armor above 50. So very susceptible to skirmish fire and all of that. But Arkhan, very angry with Azag here as Skullmuncha takes off, takes flight. Another Spirit Leech goes down. Just making sure we keep poking him down, making sure he can't stick around and deal that damage in melee that he really liked to. And now with these Orc Boys being overwhelmed by the Ushabti, which are just, I mean, they're just so cool, dude. They are so cool. I love these units. Incredibly fun to use. And the Greenskins are on the back foot here. So I think both games here, and I mean, yeah, if we look at it, the Greenskins really can't win this game. They don't have enough on the field. They've got a bunch of skirmish cav, and they have a little bit of infantry left, but just not enough to deal with the Ushabti and a full strength Ark in the black. But I think that both these battles represent something that's important as Realm of Souls pops, and we should be able to summon an Ushabti here, about army composition. Army composition in Total War Warhammer 2 is just incredibly important. I've talked about it before. Ushabti being summoned down on top of the Rusty Air is about to have a really good time here as they charge it from behind and just bisect all those dudes. Get them under control, get a nasty charge in here. Oh, that's just disgusting. Pinned in between the infantry and the summoned Ushabti. That's nasty as hell. Really nice. But yeah, it's something that I've talked about before, is that army composition in Warhammer 2 is maybe more important in this series, Total War Warhammer in general, than it's ever been in any Total War game. Talk about something like Shogun 2. Army composition is, of course, important there, but a lot of Total War games, I think, are more focused on the micro aspect of things, that you can make a mistake in terms of army composition and come back with good micro. But macro play is just so unbelievably important in the Total War Warhammer series that you can just straight up lose games easily right off the bat from what you brought to the field. Because, and I think a big factor there is that there's so much wild variety in Warhammer that the builds just play a huge role in determining who wins a game. And I think both cases were, maybe it's possible for me to have won that first game with Khalida with the build that I brought. Would have been really hard. Maybe it was possible for Turin to win this game with the build that he brought. Would have been really hard. And I think if you switch the roles there and I played the Greenskins, Turin probably rolls me over. If we switch roles there and I play Lizardmen in that first game, I probably roll Turin over. So, interesting matchups for sure. And something that I kind of regret about this series is that micro is important, but I feel like army composition trumps it a lot of the time, and that could be a little bit unfortunate. But obviously, that we've seen tons of examples of some really deep thinking in terms of not just army composition, but positioning, and good micromanagement. So I'm not saying that micro doesn't play a factor. It certainly does. But these were two examples where I think macro was, the overall army comp in general was what really set the stage there. So interesting battles for sure, though. I mean, we learned a lot. Certainly, I think Black Orcs or Big Guns would have been a better choice than the Orc Boys in this game. And I'm still trying to figure out what to do against Temple Guard or Blackguard as Tomb Kings. But we'll figure it out. Hope you guys enjoyed the games. See you next time. Any Pride, signing out for now.